Morning, Cam Newton.
Good morning.
Never mind physically. How do you feel mentally this morning?
Well, I'm all right, man. I just got to keep building blocks, man. And this was a tough one yesterday. I just got to do a better job to take a personal challenge each and every week, as I have been. Just protecting the football, man, and that's what it comes down to.
We were talking with Boomer about this, and on the fumble, you said post game that you keep that ball in your right hand because it's your dominant hand. Is that maybe give us a little more on that?
Well, any ball carrier knows when the game is on the line or in any type of situation where you don't too much have any wiggle room, you want to keep it in your dominant hand because that's your strongest hand. And as I, have played the playback multiple times, it wasn't as if I could have kept it high and tight as always, the coach's point always is, but my attention really wasn't on the defender who hit it, right? So, as I look back at the replays and the film, he came from an angle which it wasn't in my line of eyesight, which is inexcusable, but still, you want to always keep it in, or for me, I want to always keep it in my dominant hand. So when things like that do happen, you're more or less stronger with one arm than the next.
We were talking earlier about the first half. There was a moment there where it looked like to us where you want to throw the ball. You get a little pressure, you start to scramble, and then look like you kind of stopped and maybe questioned yourself on whether or not you were going to run or whether you're going to go back and try to throw. Do you feel like flustered at times when it comes to that kind of situation?
No, I don't say flustered. I'm just trying to, make smart decisions and take what the defense gives me. My playing style and playing ability is more or less, impromptu at times. And, when you make decisions, if the defense gives you an opportunity to make it, it's under your discretion to make it. So when I stepped up in the pocket, I felt as if it was nothing to be, it was too many eyes on me, so to speak. Then I tried to, see what a passing option was, and it wasn't. So therefore, that's what you have when you have it.
Now, Cam, you talked about when the fumble occurred in that area, and you just the lack of, I don't want to say focus, but you kind of getting to that next level. A couple plays before that, you have the big run, and maybe you get a little bit comfortable. Do you have to constantly reassure yourself in the huddle, especially, when your numbers call, hey, once I get in that contact area, make sure guys could be coming from everywhere. So, not to get in a situation like that where it's just maybe you kind of take your eyes off and thinking, all right, I'm going to get through here, and somebody comes out of nowhere?
Well, I feel like each week is a different learning, tool. And for me, the thing that I look back on and kind of harp on myself is just playing 60 minutes of all focus, not 59 minutes and 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? 64 minutes. And I think if that happens, then, we put ourselves and if it would have been more than that, but so be it. In my case, it's all about playing smart football. And that's what I've been, trying to do ever since I've been here. And it's been something that I can learn from each and every week. And just like yesterday, I will learn from it and be better from it.
What is the mood in that locker room? Because I think, there are those who say, is there a danger that Bill loses this locker room? Or are there guys who are saying, all right, we're giving it our all and it's not working here? What, kind of post game, what is the mood?
Honestly, when I look in the locker room, man, it's a bunch of guys that's giving supreme effort. And when you think about being a member of this team, obviously when you go back and look at games won and games lost, you can easily say, man, I have done way less and won games yet, and I have done way more and still lost. But yet at the end of the day, this game is all about production, team production, and for us to be on this losing streak, it has affected everybody. But I don't think nobody consciously has just folded the tent and said, you know what, I'm gonna give up, because that's not the case. Coach always says, we just got to do a better job, coaching better, playing better, having more effort, being more dominant, playing 60 minutes of focused football, and that's what it's coming down to. I think everybody in that locker room knows what we could potentially be and what we're capable of being. It just takes 53 guys believing and understanding and doing their given job on each and every day.
When you've been on with us after a loss, you're the kind of guy who puts it all on yourself, and so I'm wondering, after that game, do you step up and do you say to those guys, after it ends that way, do you say, hey, this is on me?
You know what? I've never really been a person to, kind of say certain things that are obvious, and especially taking the fact that this team is where we are right now, and I know I have to do a better job. And some guys have leadership, skills that may give them that, or that's not my style. My style is I know what I have to do, and I'm more of a lead by example type of person. Obviously, my energy is what it is, but I've never once, stopped a team meeting and say, hey, guys, like that's not my style. I know for me personally, just like as if any other game, I know I have to play better. I know I have to be better. And, it's been a lot of times this year that I can say it's been on me. But yet, the optimistic thing about it is I've felt more comfortable, yesterday in building off of things, working with Josh, working with Jed, and just going back and playing smart football. But, just one play, can just alter a person's, feel for the whole overall game. And that's just unfortunate, but that's what this game is. Nobody cares of how much work you put in throughout the week. They just care about the end of the week production, and that just almost gives any type of person who follows the game, from a fan to anybody else, to say, well, he hasn't been doing enough because this happens. And that's not necessarily the case. You would think that, where we are as a team, you would say, well, they can't be practicing as hard. But how fool could you be? We're practicing as hard as we can. We're seeing guys still staying after, getting treatment, watching extra film. I'm putting in the time. But for it not to transition into, in-game success, that's the most frustrating thing about, the game of football, is because, we're all judged on, did you win on Sunday? Okay, why didn't you win? It must have been something that you did on Thursday, Friday. You must have been out at the club, or you must have been, just breezing by. And it's true, but it's just hard to fathom that, we play this game, and, so much hard work just goes in vain when you don't win. And I think that's the thing that, people just need to notice.
Were you surprised by the onside kick yesterday?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't. We got to take chances in order to get rewarded. And, being that we had the momentum at that particular point in time, and, they just made a headsy play. I thought it was a good kick if it could have got to a second bounce, and the recoverer, did a great job with not letting it, get to that second bounce. But, you take chances like that, and sometimes you win and sometimes you lose.
Being a leader on this offense and in that locker room, I've played on teams before where, you're in a position and you don't want guys to be looking down the schedule, whether that's to see, okay, what do we need to do to make the playoffs, or whether that's to see, like, all right, man, when's the season over? And so how do I get through it without getting hurt? How are you, as a leader in this team and in this locker room, how are you making sure that, hey, let's focus 1 week at a time rather than get to schedule watching?
Man, listen, I've been 1 week at a time for the last 4 weeks. and just the vibe that you get in that locker room is we just need one. Mm-hmm. Because going back and knowing this team as well as I do know this team, Coming off of that, Raiders win, man, I think everybody had a full head of steam and momentum, and then obviously what happened with COVID and everything like that. It's just been a slippery slope, walking down a slippery aisle, trying to regain your footing. And one thing I do know about this team is once we get that first one, that next one is almost as, okay, we remember how to win. Okay, we know how, this feels. This is where situational football kicks in. Let's do a better job of doing this, that, and the third. And, there's no doubt in my mind that guys are taking the proper steps of focusing on each and every day, each and every rep, each and every practice that will inevitably lead to, in-game success for one particular game. And I don't think, we have a relatively young but mature team that keeps everybody focused and in line with what the common goal is for that specific day and week.
Do you think this team can still make the playoffs?
I think this team can win the next game.
Good answer.
Yeah, I mean, that's the focus is one day at a time, and that I think it's more so for the young guys, and that's why I say it's always about making sure that guys are focusing on the next game. But I know how the league is, Cam. It's just guys get to schedule watching. It's just human nature, and it's about veterans and reeling those guys in and not having them do that.
Man, listen, one thing about this league is this league turns over every 2 weeks, right? So, for us, we just got to really focus on, week in, week out. And depending on what our success is, we know that we can't control what another team does. We can't control what another, what Mother Nature brings us. We can only control what's in that New England Patriots locker room. And, we got some warriors in there. And, I'm ready to go to war with them, and I know they are, and they can say the same about me. But, we're just trying to focus in and hone in and trying to get one up under our belt before we can look for 3 and 4 and 5. So, as soon as we get one, we're going to focus on trying to get one, and then that's going to be our energy moving forward.
You may not hear them, but there are critics who call this show or say this in other places, that this is why Cam Newton didn't have a lot of interest from other teams. What would you say to them?
Man, listen, man, they are entitled to their own opinion, and they may be right. Who knows? And I'm not here to combat every single person that calls in, because I do know this is a popping show, and, you get calls from here, there, and thither, and every Tom, Harry, Jane, Respucia, all that. And, for me, my sanity comes from knowing that, man, listen, I got to get better. I feel like I'm getting better. I know I'm getting better. And just the comfort in this offense is going to pop. So, whatever a person may say, I agree with them 110%. There's not a person out there that's going to be more critical of how Cam Newton plays outside of Cam Newton. And that's just a fact. So, whatever a person may think or say, they're right. I just got to prove my worth and prove myself right before I can combat another person.
All right. Maybe you're bringing us around a little bit. I was super depressed this morning, but I don't know. I feel better talking to you, Cam.
Man, listen, you and me both. It's not fun. It's not fun sitting in a black room all day, man, and just damn near crying. God, leave, man. It's just been like, what else do I have to do, man? And it's just protecting the football. And I said it here before. It's like, the law of attraction, man. You go into every single game knowing what you cannot do, and then all of a sudden you do it, and it's just like, oh my God, what are we doing? You're praying to God, you're praying to everything just to say, man, just relieve me, please. But yet, like, people you don't care about that. I don't care about that. You know what I'm saying? Just like when you make that phone call to your kids or your family members, the main thing that they want to know, did you win? Did you win, Daddy? No, son, I didn't win it. You know what I mean? So just like that is, everybody else's mentality. Maybe
it's the feng shui. Like maybe you need to do something different down in that locker room, like redecorate or something. I don't know,
maybe.
Man, I've been feng shuiing so many different steezes, man. I think my whole internal realm is kind of off. Like, bro, what are we doing this week? You know what I'm saying?
Maybe recycle the suit that you wore when you won. You can always wear it twice.
that's a no. You can't do that with the swag, no.
By the way,
know?
Wiggy's thing now is the sweatsuits. I know you're busy, but take a look at my Instagram. He wears a new sweatsuit every single day. Where do you rank those when it comes to proper attire?
Man, first off, I have to check it out. I always give guys in the locker room, certain stamps of approval. Call it, the boogie approval thing. And I know it's probably listeners saying, have your gameplay been boogie approved? And no, it has not. But yet at the same time, I do have to find some type of fun and knowing, that, you got to bring humor some type of way. So, we got some guys that's been swagged up, and I'm seeing a picture right now of the camouflage jumpsuit. That is boogie approved. Like
there you go.
Come on now.
See, it's the fatigue, man. I just didn't rock the Timbs with it. I should have rocked the Timbs with it, but
Cam, can you give me a follow while you're there, and maybe we'll DM each other? Or
Now, I'm not looking at it on my Instagram. I can tell you that now. You know what I'm saying? Man, listen, this past week, bro, I've been off the grid, but I went so stealth mode, and I think that's the thing people don't understand. Is like, for us, is win at all costs, right? And when you don't win, or when you do win, everything's just so simple. A rainy day can be so therapeutic. Snow is just like, oh my God, this is beautiful. Cold and windy air is just like, oh my God, this is something to take in. But when you lose, even the rainiest or the sunniest days is like, oh my God, here we go again. And this, that, and the third, and your energy's off. And I just wiped it all away, man. But yet, man, I just take a deep breath and keep on pushing because we're close. And I think everybody can attest to that. We got to find ways. We had opportunities in this year that we've lost some extremely close games, but yet the optimistic of that you can get from that is just one play here, one play there, and those are different games. And just like yesterday, I have to do a better job with holding myself first accountable, for the football and just moving forward and building off of it.
The quarterback question of the week for Cam Newton is brought to you by Northeast Men's Health with offices in Dedham near Legacy Place and in Salem, New Hampshire. Northeast Men's Health, the experts in men's sexual health, northeastmenshealth.com. And it comes from a 781 texter who wants to know if you think this team needs to do something by the trade deadline.
Man, listen here. That's the last of my worries. And, I just want to make, it clear that I have no interest of worrying about anybody's job except for my job. And, I do believe in all faith of the front office and, what Coach Bill's, mental for this team moving forward. And I just have to be the person that they're expecting me to be and what I'm expecting me to be as well.
Maybe you need to eat a steak or something. Maybe it's maybe you need some protein.
I got a lot of protein. It ain't the protein, but it's the performance. The wrong keyword. But I'll be good, man. I'll be good. You guys just keep praying for me, and sooner or later we're going to be able to have a better mojo call. And I've just been waiting for so long, man. Jeez. Because I do have a question of the week too, but it just haven't been the right time to say it. So.
Oh, well, what's the question of the week?
It just has to happen after, better feng shui on Sundays. Well, in this case, Monday.
Yeah.
All right. So, after a win.
So, Cam, let me ask you something, because I heard you on one of your press conferences talking about, how passionate we are as fans here, and it's about winning regardless of what county, what city, what town that you live in. How are you able to, compartmentalize and still try to keep the same energy, the same morale, when things are not going well around you?
And it's all a test. This is all a test. And, we don't know how God may challenge us each and every day. But one thing about it, I am battle tested. One thing about it, I do have confidence in knowing that we can turn this thing around, and we will turn this thing around. It just takes, that microscope, mentality with focus on each and every day. And me personally, me being through so much of my career, from having to go to junior college, having to go, bouncing back to, revitalize my career at Auburn and being in Carolina for so long, the ups and downs that took, and being here. And, yet through it all, God hasn't failed me. So for me to trust in myself and trust in him, that brings me comfort each and every day.
Word. No.
All right.
I'm just glad Boogie approved my, my sweatsuit. So
He didn't approve it.
Yeah, he said it.
He said he saw it.
Yeah, he said he liked it. He said it was swag.
It's Boogie approved. It's
Yeah, he
Boogie
said that.
approved.
It's Boogie approved.
There you go. I
All
tell
right.
wifey that when I get home, she picked it out.
She
right.
picked it out.
Well, you're at least when you come on this program, you're looking on the positive.
Yeah.
You're not.
Fresher breath air.
It surprises me sometimes, and I guess there's no choice, right?
Listen. You got a choice. You got a choice, and the great book tells us about we are who we think we are, and for us, the reality is our record, is what it is, but the perception of certain things when you really look at it is it's not as bad as you want to make it out to be. Like I say, 1 or 2 plays here or there, the ball hasn't been rolling in our favor, but yet we got to create our own, mojo, and I think we will. I know we will. Getting guys back from injury and just building on what we have done up until this point. And that's what we just have to do here moving forward, man. It's no need for us to just sit up here and just, have this woe is me type of mentality. Oh my God, if this person was here, oh my God, this would never happen, a couple years. Man, listen, this is the 2020 Patriots, and, our specific thing that we're going to write in history is going to be extremely different than any other team. And it's going to be great. So for us to understand that and believe that, we just got to keep doing what we're doing and a little more with a little focusing and just putting in the proper work that's going to get us over the hump. Because we're close.
What? Go ahead. What? Finish.
No, I said because we're close.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, back to work. I can't wait to hear that question of the week after a win, and we will talk to you next week.
Yes, sir, man. You guys have a great week now.
All right.
All right.